Minnesota. I'm your host, Alan Tracy.
And I'm Rahana Power.
And today we have Steven Carver with us. Hello, Steve.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, you guys. I've been looking forward to it for quite a while.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have too. I'm really excited to have you here. We've got a lot of questions for you. Excited to dive in. Before we do, though, just want to kind of get to know you on a little more personal level. Steven, can you tell us something like fun, interesting, unique about you? Maybe like a skill that you have or something kind of cool and intriguing that you're able to do?
Oh, you mean like, can I tie a cherry into a knot with my tongue, or just something to a little history is I played pretty competitive softball in Minnesota, which kind of seems oxymoronic. But our team finished 9th in Worlds back when I was playing. We traveled all over the country, and in Florida, we finished 9th out of what was 156 teams at the World Tournament. So probably don't.
That's awesome. What position did you play?
I was a pitcher, and right up until I got too old, and then I was a spectator. We were playing 60, 70 games a year, so that kind of took a toll on my body. And
so, that's understandable. That's so much fun, though.
Yeah, it was, and I'm not comparing myself to them, but you hear athletes when they retire all the time, they're like, I miss the camaraderie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really it. You do miss just hanging out with your friends and stuff that you spend so much time with. But that's kind of how I see the filmmaking now is, building those relationships and hanging out with people. And it's a job, but we kind of strive on the relationship side of things. So it just replaced one thing with another.
Absolutely.
How's that for?
I think that's fantastic.
Some baseball, yeah.
What's the coolest place that you got to go to in your travels to play?
To play?
Yeah.
Nowhere cool.
Wichita.
But we played like at Disney and down in Kansas City a couple times.
Oh, cool.
Iowa, North Dakota, where I was pitching and wind basically 35 miles an hour the whole time. It was interesting. Probably my favorite was Vegas because the fields were surrounded by mountains. And it was the first time I'd ever been to Vegas. And it was just like being in this giant bowl of mountains. And it was humbling to see how tiny we were compared to our surroundings.
No kidding.
I think Milwaukee, Iowa, Nebraska, Texas. I think that covers it. So none of them very sexy, but kind of all over a bit.
Yeah. Still fun, though. Fun to get like kind of out of your normal space and especially with your team. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it is. We go to Kansas City and stay in some ratty hotel, but you're with all your buddies hanging out, and it doesn't really matter where you are.
For sure.
Right.
So if you don't have softball anymore, and we know we're going to dive into the film aspect of it. But what else are you like really into right now? Like, what's your go-to? I've got a couple hours to myself. This is my go-to thing.
Oh, well, I would love to say sleep.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
The industry is a little up and down, so I can go for 3 weeks and literally do nothing and be bored. But now the last 2 months, I haven't had time to do anything. I'm always an hour behind. So I could try and catch a 10-minute nap here and there, but it's been go, go, go because of, what was leading up to the premiere and the Dances with Films that happened a couple days ago. Leading up to that has been chaotic, and organizing that and dealing with distribution and blah, blah, blah. It's deliverables. A lot of people don't know that depending on the level dealing with the deliverables can take, April, May, can take 3 months to get done with a full team on it. So lately that's it. It's just been work. Otherwise, I will probably be considered as work, which is watch movies. I mean, that's my thing.
Favorite movie that you've gotten to go see just in your free time, whether it's something like fun and silly or something that really just like thoroughly engaged you?
Well, I just watched the Nicolas Cage movie down the Highland Theater, which was my first time there, and it was fine.
It's a nice theater.
It was entertaining, which is what I wanted. I wanted to escape. That's how we do films, to be entertaining. It's not going to win an Oscar, and it didn't do $1 billion, but it was entertaining.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, probably I have this unique gift of forgetting a movie almost before I walk out of the doors. So I watch a lot of movies many times.
Mm-hmm.
So on the plane, I just watched La La Land for the 6th time, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I've probably seen National Treasure 30 times.
The National Treasures are good.
Yeah, even though it's old now, it's kind of a standby. And then I really enjoyed, drawing a blank. Mark Wahlberg just came out.
Oh, Uncharted.
Yeah. I enjoyed that one quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a really fun one. It's kind of a similar feel to the National Treasures.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the standby? I hate being a stereotype, but Casablanca, I love it. I've seen that a lot. Singing in the Rain. Part of me loves the action, and part of me loves the classics. Part of me loves Dumb and Dumber. So
who doesn't?
Yeah, my sister. That's.
I want to. Oh no!
I just found out today, an hour ago. She walked out.
That's so unfortunate. Oh my goodness, that makes me sad.
But I get it. It's
right, and I feel like if you didn't, I don't know. It's one of those where you had to enjoy it at the time, and then the further we get away from it, the more it just becomes like that nostalgic, like hilariousness. But it
has grown for sure.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I can see that, for those people that don't like that type of humor, it doesn't work. But over time, I mean, I hate to use the word classic, but I mean, it's like you said, kind of everybody's seen it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, Steven, tell us how you got started in film.
Your audience is going to hate this answer. Literally, somebody knocked on my door. That's what happened.
What?
I need way more detail.
I was in LA visiting my sister. So my sister and her husband, they're in the industry out here. Mm-hmm. And I was visiting, and they were at work. Now one's at Disney and one's at the LA Zoo, but they were at Henson at the time. And I'm at the house, and somebody knocks wanting to use the house to film. They wanted this house and then the 2 houses on either side. And I was like, well, I can't help you with that, but they'll be back sooner or later. Mm-hmm. And so the person hung out. Turns out she played tennis at the U. Oh. So we chit-chatted for a bit, and then my sister, Autumn and Justin, got home, and they're like, yeah, no, you can't use this house. I said, I ain't doing anything. You need help? And she's like, all I got is a PA job. You won't want that. And I said, no, really, I don't mind. I don't care. And she said, well, it's $50 a week. And it ended up being 6 days on, 16-hour days, Sunday off, 6 more 16-hour days. I worked almost 200 hours and got $100. I spent more in gas. Yeah. So I lost money. But I got 5 job offers out of the deal.
Wow.
So that's the industry, right? If you're not born into it, or you don't start when you're young, you got to do the hustle. And they all thought I worked hard, which LA standard I do, but Minnesota standard I'm slacker. So they loved me and offered me jobs that I didn't know what that was. They're like, hey, will you come be a script supervisor on this? And I said, sure, but I don't know what that job is. And they're like, you'll figure it out. So that's what I tell people. Hustle. You got to do the hustle. And if you are out here in LA and people know you're from Minnesota, they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. They really are.
Yeah.
I've often told people I could shoot a whole feature film in LA with an entire cast and crew of Minnesota people that live in LA. That's how many are out here, and that's the quality. But as Will, my director, says, you have to be prepared when the luck comes, and you got to hustle to get the luck. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Literally, somebody knocked on my door.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And on top of that, just incredible that you got so many offers after just that experience, and you were so open to this industry that it sounds like you just didn't really have a second thought of prior to that.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
My LA goal was I wanted to be a tour guide at the Warner Brothers studio tour. That was like I want to do that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm too old to be doing that, but that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And don't misunderstand. This was a horrible project that I worked on. You can't find it. I took my name off. It was so bad. And the project I was getting offers for weren't great either. But that wasn't the point. The
Right.
point was you can't get wet until you get in the water. And
Mhm.
that's what it was. So, and I'm thankful. And I do it the same way again.
That's amazing. So now that you've done this for a while, who would you say inspires you the most overall, just in filmmaking?
Well, it wouldn't probably be who you think.
Mhm.
And in all honesty, it's probably not one person. It's, I'll explain it this way. When we were at the film festival, they have a red carpet and it's kind of all day long, but it ebbs and flows, right? There can be 10 people in the lobby and there can be 1,000, literally. And I'm sitting down there just doing nothing. There's nobody there. And this woman walks in, stunningly beautiful. And I was like, she's in the wrong place. She had the full gown on, 4:00 in the afternoon, and she looked lost and by herself. So I just kind of watched. But you can do the carpet at any time. And so she found somebody and like, yeah, let's do pictures. And she did an interview. And it turned out that she was a model who had just got here from Spain, but she was from the Netherlands. She had done a short and she showed up to promote. She traveled by herself for the first time to LA. And I watched this woman that looked like she's on the wrong red carpet and has been here forever, giddy, absolutely giddy with that her film was in this film festival. And it was just like an 8-year-old being interviewed on the news. She just was so happy and genuinely enthusiastic. And it's that kind of energy and passion, I think, that I look up to and admire the most, because I'm on the other end of the spectrum where I mostly work with numbers and I have to be even keel, and to be reminded of the fun and joy that art can bring people and to see their successes. And you don't have to win an Oscar to be successful. And she was over the moon. And I got her a couple hours and kind of renewed my faith in humanity a little bit. I got to be honest. So it's those people with the dreams and the attitudes that are pushing after it that inspire me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that way whenever you like maybe cast or add someone to the crew that's, really into the passion of it. They really wanted this like as a goal of some kind,
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel for them because everybody's like, wow, I get rejected 30 times before I get a part. And that's because 30 people applied for it. So only one's going to get it.
Mhm.
30 are going to apply for the next one and only one's going to get it. And it's a lot of heartbreak. And I hate delivering the heartbreak. But yeah, seeing the joy on people's face when they get it is, it's pretty cool, I got to say. And that's a very good point, Alan. That definitely, that's where you see that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And especially when you get into a festival too, I think that just adds the cherry on top, if you will.
Oh, I got a good one then. So, little girl in our movie, Madeline McGraw, she plays Rosalie. And at the time, she was younger, so we had some work hour restrictions. So she had a double. And it was Mila Torres from Minneapolis. And her mom gets a hold of me and says, can we go to the premiere? And I was like, of course you can. And she's like, can we walk the red carpet? And I said, of course you can. And Mila literally cried that she was going to get to walk the red carpet. And I mean, it's kind of an emotional deal thinking about it, the kind of excitement and joy that people get from everything. And it's a good reminder to chisel this stone off my heart a little bit and be happy for everything that's in front of me.
Yeah. And I feel like that really, it's a good reminder that like those moments, I feel like the more that you maybe do it or around that, the less special it seems. But like that is such an important and special moment that I think can seem kind of faded to some of us who are like not us. I'm not numb to it. It would be amazing. But some who might be more like numb to it because they're so used to it that it's just a reminder of how like wonderful it is. That's awesome.
I would agree 100%. And I'm not used to it by any means because I'm not at that level. But I deal with the people in the business every day. And, you know, if you want to build stone around your heart, that's the way to do it. But
yeah,
you got to come back to the happiness a little once in a while.
Yeah, those big short moments where you have your film in front of people, especially an audience in a theater, which is like the pinnacle for films. That's our arena, if you will. Yeah, those are good moments, especially in festivals, and you take those memories and experiences with you for the rest of your life, usually.
Yeah, that's the big moment for Will, my director. So Will wrote, acted, directed, produced, and he's a pure artist. He would do it for free. He would give it away for free if he was allowed to do either. That's his passion. And it's a good balance for me. And he had been at the film festival to see everything he could, except when we had some media to do. He 12-hour days. He's down there watching shorts and features, and because he loves it.
Yeah.
Loves it. And he wants to support the other artists. And we can use a little bit more of that in this world. Some pure, just unadulterated joy for others and support. So yeah, he's an asshole about it. He loves that stuff.
Yes. Do tell us about your most recent feature film here and how it became the film you wanted to make and what your role was in it.
Well, that's interesting. So The Harbinger is what we had playing at the film festival, and we had shot that up in the Chisholm area, Chisholm-Hibbing in northern Minnesota, pre-COVID. And it was we were there for 5 months. We had a 3-month pre-production build and then 2 months of filming. And we got into that when an executive producer, wasn't an executive producer, but she had got a hold of me and said she had always wanted to make a movie. And she had the ability to get behind it financially, and said, the only way I'm going to do it is if we create new jobs. So that was her concern. And I said, you can't really use people that haven't shot a movie to shoot a movie. It's not going to work. So we were at a standstill. And so we came up with the idea of doing a nonprofit, since the budget was going to be that much higher. And so we said, look, we're going to need a professional crew, which most was from the Minneapolis area. And then we hired veterans, Native Americans, victims of domestic violence that had never been in entertainment before. They didn't know what a set was, had never been there. And we just plucked them off the street and said, we're going to give you some paid training, housing, food, transportation if they needed it. Come on in as a PA. Don't screw anything up. Learn, and then find a department that you think is interesting, and we'll shift you over there, and you can learn that department. And when we come back again, you start there, and let's get you to start climbing the ladder. So that ended up being, I think it was 41 people that we were able to get into that program. And that's really been why we ended up doing the Harbinger. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think we missed, it kind of broke up there during, like, when you're telling us about your role in all that.
Okay. So I'm one of the producers, and I typically, my history is in finance and business up until I got into this industry, and that's how I knew this person from the past. And so they got a hold of me and said, I want to do it. Will you help produce it? I don't know what's going on. And so I've split the producing role with Will and Amy Mills, who was one of the writers also.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Well, the joke is that almost all production companies are nonprofit. It's but ours is a 501c3.
There you go. That's incredible. What's the nonprofit called?
It's called Veteran Films. So we were going to go Native films. I will tell you that all 3 executive producers are Native, 2 women and a man. Nice. I can tell you one of them. I mean, they're fairly private, but the one is Irene Bedard, who stars as Floating Hawk in the movie, and she was the voice and face for Pocahontas back in the day.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's on this film, and we've become good friends since, and have gone into business on a much bigger project since then. And yeah, it's been a little crazy ride.
My 7-year-old little heart just fluttered when you said that. Oh my goodness. if she happens to be listening, I love you and you're amazing. Okay. Anyway,
I'll get you something for her though. It's not going to be a signed Pocahontas, but I'll get you a signed Harbinger poster.
That's me. Thank you.
Right.
Amazing. So
you're not alone, by the way. I've been to Comic-Cons and stuff, and when people recognize her, it doesn't matter how old they are, they turn 7.
I completely believe it. She's just astonishing. Oh my goodness. So Steven, can you tell us what you love most about filming, like specifically here in Minnesota?
I shouldn't say this, but I'm just going to anyway. The things I like the most and hate the most about Minnesota, so bad, is the people. It really is the people. LA is a different world. It's not my world. It's not where I grew up. I grew up in Minnesota. And, you know, when we shot up north, it really was the people that I enjoyed and enjoyed today. I mean, most of the people I talked to are from that filming experience. And I really enjoyed their passion for it. You know, we had some people, and they're going to hate this, but that were in the industry that were a little more difficult and a little less appreciative than I would have liked. Not of me. I don't care if people appreciate me, but just the opportunity where I saw 40 people that were just starry-eyed to be on a set. And the one guy, he came in off the street. So he was a veteran, had lost his job. And he came in off the street and he's like, I hear you guys are, you know, hiring. And I was like, yeah, well, kind of, but, you know, we're pretty full. I don't have anything. And he said, I'll do anything. I was like, this is disgusting, but I could use my bathroom cleaned at the studio. And he said, yeah, I know where the cleaning supplies are. I got that. And he disappeared and he cleaned the bathroom. And he came back and he said, what's next? And I was like, all right, I need to give you responsibility. And, his name's Jeff Marks. And we ran with it. And he ended up being one of our very best people on the set. Everybody loved him because he would do whatever for anybody whenever. And that was really what we were looking for in people. Versus, well, I've been in this business forever and I know how it goes and you guys are doing this wrong. And I was like, this is a great opportunity for all of us, right? We want to, you know, Minnesota, we need more here. We need community here. We need more pictures here. And everyone matters and everyone counts. So that's the good and the bad. So I hope I don't piss off anybody, but that's the truth. And I'm going to be truthful. But so it's the people. And if it's tough to shoot Minnesota. And we looked at doing a studio there. And that's a whole nother story. You know, after we did the Harbinger, we were looking into that. And the rebates made it tough. It's just tough business. And, you know, I got to speak before whoever in Congress, like 50 people, and kind of explain why it's important. And they just didn't care as much as I thought they probably should have. And so it makes it difficult, but it's creeping along now. For those out there listening, if you're willing to go up to St. Louis County and shoot, if you time it right, you're going to get a 70% rebate. So
wow,
keep the work here if you can.
Yeah,
absolutely. So have you, I mean, the answer to this is obviously yes, but can you tell us about like filming outside of Minnesota? How, like, have you made more films outside of Minnesota than in?
Well, the Harbinger is the biggest project that I've worked on. Most of my stuff was smaller and it's kind of been growing, and it was all, I did one thing in Minnesota. We were trying to do a reality show, a fashion reality show, which still would be golden. If we could do it. It's 2 male twins, blonde, blue-eyed twins that make custom suits for high rollers. All the athletes in the Twin Cities, a bunch of businessmen, they travel the country, and they're right in Northeast, and they're super entertaining. And so we ran one episode on that, but I've had a little trouble getting it picked up. So we did that, but otherwise it's all been California. And that's easy. California, it's a bunch of professionals and the weather's nice. Beyond that, it doesn't matter, but boy, the weather's nice.
I
no better than Minnesota. In fact, in ways it's worse.
Really?
But it's just a little bit easier to find people that know what they're doing at a moment's notice. Like, hey, can you be, my script supervisor just got sick. Can you be here tomorrow? And they're like,
Mhm.
no, I can't, but I know somebody and they're available and I'll have them show up at 8 a.m. and then they're there.
Mhm.
So it's a little tougher in Minnesota to do that. I wouldn't say the quality is any better. It's just deeper here.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in Chisholm and you need somebody the next day. That doesn't work
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, that's understandable. It's a little ways from the cities.
Yeah, a little. But we tried desperately to put down something permanent in Minnesota, and maybe someday, because we're still working on the studio deal. But from a business standpoint, the state rebate's going to have to just get a little bit better. There's a lot of competition out there, a lot for filmmaking.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe you've answered this question now, but what is the biggest challenge for you when making a film?
It's the same answer as all my answers, and it's people. It's finding the right people. Honestly, Will has this great line, and he says, and I don't know who started it. It wasn't Will, but 90% of a director's job is taken care of if he hires the right actors. Right? They do all the work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's same from the production side. If you find the right department heads who have the right crews with them, your job is just that much easier.
Right.
So the key is finding those people. And when we did the Harbinger, I didn't always see eye to eye with the department heads, but I never questioned their abilities because they were rock solid in them and the people that were under them. And I felt totally confident just handing it off. And I don't need to know, I'll see you on the set and say hi. That was it. And so I really appreciated that, because that is where it's the first mountain of pressure of many that you deal with. And that is hiring the right people. Mm-hmm. And it was a little bit of an exhaustive search, but we got it done. And we're very happy on the talent side. And when I say talent, I mean the crew that we got in Minnesota. That was, again, we're only 2 or 3 deep there, but my LA people that came in were the same. They're like, yeah, we got some super good quality here.
Yeah. So just to piggyback on this, a sub question, if you will, what roles are lacking the most, have you found in which departments and such here in Minnesota?
Well, not hair and makeup, because there's a lot of good people there. We had Jim Morgan in sound, and I've had a gazillion people say how great the sound was. They can't believe we got such good stuff out, but it's not real deep in sound. I know there are other people, and I know who they are, but it's not deep. We had a lot of PAs, and we were able to get those. Wardrobe was a little thin. We had Deborah handle that, and Amanda backed her on that, and that was great. But it wasn't real deep, and especially if there's another project, right? I mean, you just pick it. Mm-hmm. We struggled with the DP, I'll say that. We did have to go to LA for a director of photography. We saw everybody's reels that are up there. And while some were very good and close, and I hate this, it was just like, oh, it's just not the right feel. And I hate hearing that, right? I'm sorry, you're just not the right fit. You're great, but not the right fit. But that was the case. And then, so we pulled somebody, Jose, from LA, and he's actually from Venezuela, working in Portland as we speak. And we knew we loved his reel. And we were meeting with him at some chicken place. And he's like, I need this much money. And I said, yeah, we can't do that. Sorry, we can do about 70% of that. And he said, okay, but as long as we use the Ari Alexa, then I'm in. And we're like, okay. Because, we want it to look as good, and that was a priority. It was going to look as good as it could. So we picked the camera and the lenses, and it looks great. Our production quality is outstanding, and that was a good trade-off. So that also went a long way. He said, I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'll give up the money, but I want the best stuff. And that was pretty important for us.
Okay, I need to nerd out for a second. Ari Alexa. Which one?
So we used the Mini.
Okay.
And we ended up using 2. And so I'm drawing a blank on the other one that's the Mini's modeled after.
LF.
Yes. So we had an LF and then a Mini also. And I just got to see the brand new one yesterday. I was over at Aerie. I always say Ari, but it's Aerie. I was at
They say Ari. It's okay.
Yeah, it is. But I was there and they say Aerie. So I'm like, okay, Aerie. I got to remember Aerie.
Oh my God.
Because I learned it as Ari. So that's what's in my head. But their brand new camera just came out this last week. And so I got to go and visit them and see I forgot the name of the stage, but they're kind of doing the 360 stage now. Have you guys heard about this? It's LED. If you took the
yes
at the Twins game and you curved it, they do that.
Like on the Mandalorian.
Yes. So the Mandalorian, that's what they use. They use I don't know if it's a 360 or 270.
Yeah, it's not 360.
Yeah, I think they use a 270, but it's amazing. It's going to change the industry. They sat and showed it to me, and it's lighting. They work off an iPad. They changed the scenery. They changed the lighting. Just on a 10-year-old on an iPad can do it. It's incredible. And then I said, how much? And they said,
that's the tricky part.
Yeah, the good one that's out in, it was somewhere in Europe, and it's a 270, and it was like 7 meters high. So I had to do the math. I was like, okay, like 20 feet. And it was pretty big. It was like 70 feet big. And he's like, well, that one was 10 million.
Oh my goodness.
A day?
Well, no, like if you build it, that's what it was. Irene was just up in Vancouver working a 360. And now this is what she said, so I haven't been able to verify it, but the electric bill is 80 grand a day.
Ooh.
Things. And I can see that. So imagine running the scoreboard at Target Field for 16 hours. They have, even though it's LED, there's special cooling systems in there because it does get hot.
Yeah.
But that one also had a turntable, so it rotated. So you could like show somebody walking on the turntable. You don't know they're on a turntable.
Yeah.
They're walking, the scenery's changing, and you're just in a room. And they do the ceiling and they do the floor in LED also. It's insane. It is absolutely insane.
So 10 million is your budget, right? So
if you wanted to build it, so if you're building a studio and you wanted to have the screen, the 270 that's 70 feet long, it's a check for 10 million. I don't know what it is to rent it. But if the electric bill's 80 grand a day, if you have to ask,
yeah. Whew.
So yeah, if you want to nerd out, yesterday was the day to nerd out, trust me. And I did.
I love it.
So Steven, what do you, outside of the people, what do you like really look forward to most when you get to start a new project? Like what's the thing you're like, I cannot wait for this moment or process?
I need a new answer. Dang it.
Well, it can still be people if it really is people.
All right. I'll start giving 2 answers. It really is the people. I just bring them together, right? Kind of like a general manager of a sports team. And that's really what I like the most is bringing these people together and creating something. And I'll tell you, when you see people that have never met before and you're on set the very first time and all of a sudden they're everywhere. They're just like cockroaches running all over doing stuff. And like, what are they doing? How do they know what they're doing? They've never met each other. And then all of a sudden they disappear, like the light goes on and like, where'd they all go? And then and they all come out of the woodwork again, and you watch them work. And it's this orchestra of people that met the day before. Mm-hmm. And I find that to be the amazing part of the creative process. The first day is great. The general work that goes into it, I don't really care for. It's just a little painful dealing with all the analytical stuff and the logistics and and then after in post that's more work too. So really the only enjoyment comes on set, and this is probably for most people, on set, seeing it happen, seeing the changes, seeing people work on the fly and overcome obstacles that you can't plan for. It's just it is kind of poetry in motion to watch the crews work, honestly. So I hate going back to that. But if if it was just me in total control doing something on my own, I wouldn't do it. It really is about working with the people and seeing them create an end project and being proud for them of what they were able to do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, no, that's a great point. It's like, it's the fun part of the whole process.
well, maybe that's the answer, right? What do you, well, yeah, what do you enjoy? What is fun? To me,
Yeah.
that's the only fun, is watching people work and create.
Yeah.
Everything else is the business side. And, most movie watchers, they don't know what goes into the business side, which is great.
Right.
They shouldn't. It should be entertainment. It should be your escape. You spend your money at your crappy job. You want to get away. And that's what the industry needs to do, is remember that. They don't need to look behind the curtain and know, the bitterness of people in the industry, or our opinions on anything. We just need to do our job and work for them. And so when I see people do that, I find that great enjoyment in watching people just love it and do it. And it's very rewarding to me.
Yeah. Yeah, especially that, like you just mentioned, people that love it. Like, that's the thing, is the people that are in the industry, like, they love the industry so deeply and so much, because if they didn't, they would be absolutely doing something else, 100%. So like, having that type of passion for it, it makes the excitement even better. I agree.
That's a great point. This industry will beat you down easy. I tell people it's 99 no's to get one yes. And if you can't take 98 no's, just don't even bother. And you can't do that without passion and love for what you're doing. And that's what you get, right? When you get people that they rise to the top, it's because they have that. And that's exciting to see people in their zone, to see them in their happy place, in their zone, crushing it. And I would tell people that you need to have that. Don't do it because, always thought it would be cool. It's not, you're going to hate it.
Yeah. So Steven, what's coming up next for you? What are you looking forward to?
Oh, I'm looking forward to doing nothing, to be honest, for a couple of weeks until we become available to the general public on what we're doing, which I can say looks like early August. I can't give too much of the details on it, but plan on early August, including in Minneapolis. But just a little bit of a break, and then we do have 2 more Harbingers coming. We have outlines on them, and they changed quite a bit from the first one. The roles that people play, I will tell you, the little girl Maddie, her role changes quite a bit and grows, and same with Floating Hawk, who's Irene, and then the father and the mother, their roles kind of shrink a little bit as we go, and we add some characters. Getting those 2 knocked out, I will like a lot. We have a Western comedy musical, so think Blazing Saddles, but something that can be shown today.
Okay.
That's really our baby that we were in the middle of doing before the Harbinger came up. But our EP is like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I want to do something horror with caves and tunnels. And so we did. So that's how it came about. We pulled an old script and kind of tweaked it a bit to what we have now. And then our big project is we are, in conjunction with Irene and some others, working on a studio build, which is a project that is way beyond what I ever thought I would be involved with. But it's something that's big and exciting, and there's no way I should be a part of it, but I am. And we've been working on that for a while, and it's kind of just coming to fruition right about now. So I don't have a ton of detail, as in location. I will tell you, we tried in Minnesota to do it, but it just didn't work out. So we're looking on, I looked up north, and they were interested. Like the Hibbing area, Chisholm, they were Mountain Iron. They were really interested in us being there, but we couldn't get the support we were looking for from the IRRB or from the state. And so we couldn't make it happen. Like, we could do the build, but without movies coming here, it's just going to be a bad situation.
It's tough.
Yeah. So we are working with the Native community on this. And so that determined a little bit about where we're doing it. But I'll tell you, it's one of the 2 coasts, and eventually, if things go well, it will be both coasts, and it'll be substantial. it's honestly, and y'all are kind of hearing for the first time publicly, it's not there. I don't have the money in hand. I'm not signing the check for it. But it's been 3 years in the making, and we should have it wrapped up by the end of August.
Oh,
That's
wow.
so exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to be able to do A Tribe and another group is going to own the studio, but the permanent tenants are going to be Veteran Films. So we can institute our program there at the studio with full-time, I will say educators. It's crew, but professional crew who are going to work full-time to help people that are coming into the business in the program.
Oh, wow.
And Netflix and Amazon have already made pretty big commitments to at least rent from us, to use us. But there are criteria. It's you use our people. We can't have a training program if there's nothing to do.
Right.
So they can bring in some of their own, but they're paying for hours either way, so they might as well use them. So that's really our big project right now. So we're still hoping, in this industry, till it's done, it's not done.
Yeah. That's very exciting, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very big congratulations on that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll keep you guys in the loop. I mean, you'll know. Everybody will probably know the same day when we get it squared away. But the downside or the good side, depending on how you feel about snow, it's not going to end up in Minneapolis.
For sure.
Well, Steven, where can people find your work or follow or support you?
That's a good question, and you really can't. And I'm going to try and keep it that way. So
don't support him. It's okay.
I'm unprepared on our website and our Facebook. I know that we have a Harbinger Facebook. I don't operate it. Our website is okay, but when the project's over, I'll delete myself from it, just like I have on everything else. So I'm on the Harbinger right now. If you go on IMDb, in 4 months when you go back, I will no longer be on it. So it's I don't want the credit. It's not about me. It's just about the next project. So I don't really do a following. I don't do social media other than my friends on Facebook. I had to ask what my Instagram was, and somebody said 7. I don't know, and hopefully I can keep it that way. I want everybody else to get the glory on that stuff. So,
Wow.
Is there any way that people are able to support the nonprofit?
We'll come out with that. We're not looking to raise money on that. Really, the support is when you hear of our projects to go check them out.
Okay.
Part of the nonprofit is we do have to try and get our money back, right? And the reason we get the money back is so we can do the next project. So anything, and the Harbinger is one of those, whether you're going to end up streaming it or catch it in a theater, is support that. And we work entertainment first, right? When we sit down, you're not going to get a message from us. This isn't Marvel, but you're going to be entertained. And when we write it and do it, it's about entertaining our audience. So even if it's not your kind of movie, which the Harbinger is not my kind of movie, I wouldn't go see it regularly. But it was to make it entertaining, and I guarantee it's entertaining, and you will not see the ending coming. You won't. Every critic that has seen it said, I didn't see it coming. And we worked hard at that. So to support veteran films, the mission is to just go see our product. That's it.
I love it. That doable.
Yeah. I hope so. Well, when we're there, I mean, I'll let you guys know right away. You'll probably be maybe not the first two to know. My parents will be the first two to know. I'll make sure that you guys are there opening night.
Well, thank you.
Oh.
I'm definitely excited for that. So the big question, Steven, before we wrap up, is what do you want people to remember most about you?
Well, it falls in line with what I just said. Oddly, nothing. It's not about me. I want them to say Veteran Films was great. That mission was great. Can't remember that one dude that was running that. Like when you see a movie and that actor, what's his name?
Yep.
That's what would be best for me, is that they appreciate what we did and I did, but don't know who I am would be perfect.
They made a film after that, like That Guy or That Girl or something. That guy from
Something
that
like
thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just
I
do
always
that
feel
guy in that thing. Ooh, I like that. That guy in that
Yeah.
thing. I'm stealing it. We're gonna have to work that into something. That guy in that thing. That one guy
Yeah.
in that one thing.
Perfect. All right. Well, Steven, thank you so much for taking the time to like sit and chat with us. I'm sure you're really busy right now with a million things, so we really appreciate it.
Yes, it is crazy, but I've been looking forward to it for what it's been a week or two now, and I really wanted to talk to you guys, and I really enjoyed it, and I really appreciate your time, and it's great. And anything I can ever do, you guys let me know, hit me up, and I'll do whatever I can.
Well, thank you. This is amazing, and we will definitely be talking to you soon.
All right, thanks,
All
guys.
right. And for all our listeners, thanks for joining this episode of Film in Minnesota.